Welcome back to A Book for My Sister podcast, where we are just two sisters hanging out and talking about books. My name's Amelia.
And my name's Cassie.
And thanks for joining us today. We hope that you are following along our reading journey. You can hit subscribe to our podcast. We hope that you do. Leave us a comment about what you're reading right now. We want to hear what you guys are doing and reading, so please let us know. Cassie, what do you have to drink during our episode today?
I have my first of the season, an iced honey lavender latte. That's actually not true. I had one last week, but it was really bad, so I'm not going to talk about it. This one's very good.
Well, good. Why was it so bad last week, and why is it so much better today?
Last week, I was at a brunch restaurant. I wasn't at a coffee
Their
shop.
coffee is always the worst.
And so I was like, oh, honey lavender latte. And my boyfriend said, oh, I'll do the same. That sounds so good. And so we got it. And it was it was not mixed in. And it was a fat spoonful of honey at the bottom. And then a fat spoonful of syrup at the bottom. So I didn't know that. I stuck my little straw in. I just got a mouthful of honey. And I was like,
you gotta stir it around.
Well, yeah, but I thought it was fine. And then I stirred it. And it never really fully stirred because, it's honey. That needs to be mixed in.
Well, honey needs to be brewed into your coffee. You need to drip the espresso over the honey.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I don't think
this
place was doing that.
They did it wrong.
Yeah. So, yeah, this one's better because actually I did have to take it out of the cup because the lavender was also on the bottom. But then it had gotten.
I hate that.
And I was driving home, so I wasn't really drinking it, and it had gotten really cold, so I couldn't, and so it was so annoying. I was like, I have a straw in my car. It was a paper straw in my car, so I reached my little straw in, tried to stir it. I know, literally tried to stir it. It was so awful, and it was thick and congealed on the bottom because it was so cold. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I gotta wait till I get home. So I sped home. I poured it.
Shake it up.
I poured it in my my frother, and I scooped out all the lavender syrup, and then I frothed it, and then I added my own honey. And then I frothed it, and now it's delicious.
Okay, so you had to modify the coffee that you bought.
I basically had to remake it.
Make your own coffee.
But it is very good, and I put it in one of my cute glasses, so we're chilling.
Well, that's nice. I had yesterday, there was almost all of my coworkers all of my coworkers were out of the office for the whole day, and so it was just me and my manager and my boss. And so we walked down the street to get some coffee, and we will usually, as a group, all go down the street to get coffee, once a week. And I usually don't get a coffee because I make my own, because I can't afford to buy coffee twice a week, and also I like to make my own coffee.
Yeah.
And so yesterday morning we went, and I didn't make my coffee because I was like, I'm going to get some coffee. So I got a honey vanilla latte there, and I was really it was very good. It's a local chain here, so it's sometimes their coffee is good, and sometimes it's bad.
What you speak of.
You know exactly what I speak of.
They have good honey lavender.
And I used to be a really big lavender person, and then I had a lavender latte from a coffee shop that I used to really like, and it tasted like soap, and I was like, I think I'm done.
That'll do it.
So now I don't drink the lavender. Although I did get some lavender syrup in a London Fog last year. Lovely. In 2024 in December, and it was because my boss bought us all some coffee, and that was actually really good. It's good in a London Fog, but in coffee I think I'm done with that. But I do like honey in my coffee. I definitely prefer it
in matcha over coffee. I just thought I wanted more caffeine this morning because I was very sleepy. So I was like, let me try it in coffee, and it's good, but it's better in matcha.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Well, that sounds delightful. Today I made myself a little maple vanilla iced latte, and I made myself because we have some vegan whipping cream, and we never have whipping cream. So I made myself a little cold foam with a little of the vegan whipping cream and a little bit of my Oatly sweet cream creamer to flavor it. And it's really good, but unfortunately I put too much of that damn Trader Joe's bourbon vanilla syrup in here, and it tastes like freaking bourbon in my coffee, which is not what I wanted.
That's crazy.
I wanted it to be more mapley, and it's more vanilla-y, and it's just not.
Well, how much do you put in?
I eyeball it every time, and I usually will use the same container if I'm going to put something like maple syrup or honey in my coffee so that I can shake it around. But this morning I used one of those I have a bunch of those Trader Joe's vanilla bean paste containers, like those tiny little ones. Mm-hmm. And this one is pretty new, so it still smells like vanilla, so we can't put any. I usually will use them for like salad dressing, but it smells like vanilla, so I don't want to put salad dressing in there yet.
Overnight oats. I guess they're small.
They're tiny. That'll be a spoonful of
chia
oats.
pudding.
I hate chia pudding.
Yogurt.
Girl, it's small, but so I just put my syrup in there, and I brewed my espresso in there, in the tiny little vanilla paste one. So it was like a different size than what I would usually use. So I think I was just eyeballing it wrong because it was a different container. But I also, on top of my cold foam, I put a little of sometimes I'll put my Dutch pressed cocoa powder. I'll sprinkle a little bit of that on top of my coffees. And it's a nice little, because it's not super sweet, so it's kind of a nice little thing to have on top of your coffee. If it's too sweet, which this is a little bit too sweet. But it's still good, and I'm still going to drink it, but I wish that it was more mapley than vanilla. But alas, my measurements were off.
Yeah, because I have, you gave me that syrup, and I just eyeball it too in my matchas, and I've never experienced it tasting like bourbon. So I'm like, and I put a good amount,
No, in matcha, it doesn't do that.
Oh, okay.
But in coffee, I don't know if the coffee just brings out that flavor in the syrup.
I was like, because I put in like less than a teaspoon, like a teaspoon, and I'm like, how much are you putting in there?
No, I don't put that much because I don't like my coffee to be super sweet. I like to have a flavor in my coffee, but I don't want it to be like I'm drinking sugar. So I don't put that much in. And I think that coffee, if you put a little bit too much in your coffee, I think it can bring out that flavor more. But in matcha, I have not had that problem, which is why I usually only make matcha when it's like hot outside. Yeah. So I haven't made it a ton this year. But when I start making it more, I'll use it, and that won't be a problem. It's only a problem when I put it in my coffee.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. But, oh well, can't complain. I made myself a fancy coffee, and here we are.
So. Yeah, and I spent $7 on mine, so.
And you had to remake it.
And I had to remake it, so.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, today we're just going to be doing a baby-sode, a mini-sode, so we can, we just did our big Into the Crichtonverse series, and so we're going to take a little bit of a rest I'm going to take a little bit of a rest on writing long outlines that I have to reread books for. So we're just going to, do a little talk about what books we're currently reading, what books we are hoping to start soon, and anything that we finished up recently, kind of like when we did this in November. So it's just going to be, we're just going to chat about what we've been reading.
Okay, so I know I mentioned it briefly a few episodes ago, but I did just finish, and that was when I had kind of just started it. I just finished The Traitor of Sherwood Forest by Amy Kaufman, and that was the Robin Hood one, the new take on Robin Hood, and it was alright.
Okay.
Honestly, and I know I mentioned I was like, oh, is this gonna be some smut? Like, oh, I didn't know what I signed up for.
Was it not?
It was not. And no, honestly,
that's an unpleasant surprise.
Yeah, and I'm not all about that.
Sure.
This book could have used it. I think it would have made it better. Like, it was just...
Was it just like...
Tease! It was just teasing.
Was it just like attention the whole time?
Yeah, it was just sexual tension between this Jane and Robin Hood.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was good.
With no resolution?
No, the ending... Well, I guess, yeah, I could talk about how it ended. Spoiler alert, don't...
Skip ahead 30 seconds.
Well, okay.
To 45
maybe
seconds.
A minute, I don't know.
A minute and a half.
So, basically, the new take on this book is that Robin Hood isn't actually good. Like,
right.
He does do things, but the way he, like, things for the poor, but the way he goes about it is, like, really violent and, like, great, and he's, like, kind of a psychopath. So that's the twist, and it starts to scare Jane, his love interest, and the main character. And she's like, and he just does a bunch of crazy, messed up stuff. And she's like, what am I going to do about this? And she's like, he wants me to, like, marry him, be his, like, Robin Hood.
Robinette.
I was, like, trying to think of he wants her to be his Robinette. And she was, like, not about that. She was like, dude, you killed a kid in front of me. Like, I'm not doing that.
Oh, my goodness.
And she kind of had this, like, working relationship with this, they're not witches, but, like, she's basically a little witch.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like
she
medicine woman.
A medicine woman. With this high class medicine woman. Upper class. Not high class. Upper class.
High class medicine.
There's upper class medicine woman. And she gave Jane some poison. Like, she was like, kind of in the middle of the book, she was like, hey, if you ever need this, like, it's a man's world out there, girl, carry this poison around. And so she's carrying this poison around, and so the second she gave her the poison, I was like, oh, I know exactly how this book is going to end, because she's going to kill Robin Hood. So that's basically what happened. Like, she put it in his wine as they were riding off into the sunset, and he drank it, and then he was dying, and so then she called the medicine woman. She was like, do I just let it, like, run its course? And the medicine woman was like, no, it's going to be really painful and take too long. So she bled him until he died.
Is it worse to die by poison or to be bled? What do you mean bled? Like, she ripped open his
he was
carotid
exsanguinated.
artery?
He was exsanguinated. But
like what they used to do? Like what they would...
So she didn't slash his throat. It was on his arm. She, like... It's basically
is that
she's doing
not
an IV.
The same amount of pain as...
I don't know. Apparently this poison was really painful. I don't know. Maybe it's better than that. But yeah, she basically...
That sounds painful.
She gave him an IV with nowhere for the blood to go.
So it comes out of the
So it just
needle,
was going out of his... It was just going out of his vein.
Ugh.
And he was just like... He was
Gross.
like, okay, that's good. He's like, okay, no, that's good. Okay, no, that's good. What are you doing? Stop. That's too much.
He thought that they were, like, taking the poison out of him or something?
Yeah, literally.
She was like, no, sorry.
Yeah, and he was very out of it. So he was like, whoa, what the heck? And then, like, right before he died, he figured out, he was like, oh, this was on purpose. And he was like, why did you do that? And Jane said, you presented me with a choice, and I chose. And it's like,
wow.
So, yeah, like, it was okay. I knew exactly how it was going to end. So that kind of made the reading, like, I was like, oh, well,
Yeah. Okay, then. Well, that's a little bit not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so the smut would have helped.
Yeah, I probably would have.
Another book that I'm, like, off and on reading, if anyone has ever struggled with, like, body image issues, a really good, like, self-help book is, it's called Body Neutral by Jessie Nealand. I highly recommend it. Just, like, I just pick it up whenever I'm like, oh, you know what, I need to read this. Mm-hmm. So, if anyone needs that, highly recommend this book. She really has some great perspective. So that's another one that I just keep on my shelf.
Well, so in the last month I was in a little Toni Morrison kick because I had never read Toni Morrison before, which honestly I don't know how that happened. I think that Toni Morrison should probably be assigned in schools. And I don't know how that happened. In school, especially because I was a women's studies major, I'm like, nobody was like, go read The Bluest Eye right now. Like, I'm very confused. So I read The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, and I read Beloved by Toni Morrison, and I definitely preferred Beloved, which is like, if you never read it before, you definitely should. Especially if you like a spooky haunted house. Because Beloved is sort of... To give a brief, it's sort of magical realism, but when I heard that it was magical realism before starting it, I thought it was going to be a little bit more, and it wasn't. So I was kind of grateful for that. But it's basically about a family that the mother was enslaved, and so was their father, and the mother escaped with her children and moved to her mother-in-law's house in Cleveland. They're definitely in Ohio. And then, so she's living there, and they are, like, settling in and, trying to resume life. And then some slave catchers come to take her and her children back. And she's like,
Dang.
you're not taking my children back. So she takes her children to the shed and starts to kill them so that they don't have to be taken back.
Jeez.
She only kills one of them. And she is like, she's probably like 2. With her daughter. She had 2 boys and 2 girls, and one of her girls is a brand new baby. And one of her girls was like 2, probably 1 or 2. And so that was a spoiler. Spoiler! I guess it was a spoiler. For a book that was written a long time ago. And so basically, now it's just then that happens. The main character, the woman, was taken. She was like put in prison for a little while, and then she came back. And then over the years, the house kind of felt haunted, and everyone just kind of knew it. And they were like, "Oh, the house is just kind of haunted." And so then her 2 sons leave, and then the mother-in-law passes away, and so now it's just the mom, the main character, and her daughter. And
well, I have a question.
Yeah.
So she killed 1 kid, and then they all they didn't actually end up being caught. And
no, they weren't taken. No, because then she did that, and they were like, "Well, let's arrest her." Basically,
let's arrest her instead.
Yeah.
And they just left the kids there.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, so now it's the mom and her youngest daughter, who's, I think she's like 17 or 18 at this time, and she is really like close with her mom and like close to the house, and she like doesn't leave the house. And so then this man that it was also enslaved with her mom shows up, because he's just kind of been like going from city to city for the last like 20 years or so. And so then he finds a house, and he's like, "Oh, this is like, it's you, like, hi." And so he like moves in with them for a little bit, and they're coming home one day, and there's a girl sitting outside on a stump, and they're like, "Who's this girl?" And the mom immediately is like, "Well, you should come in and we can clean you up and we can get you some food." So that's what that book is about. It's really heavy. I mean, Toni Morrison's work is really heavy. The Bluest Eye was good. My only complaint with the book was there was more pedophilia in this book than I had originally realized. I didn't know, because when you're reading it, you're kind of like, I see that this is going to happen, but it happens a lot more. And the Toni Morrison's books are very descriptive. She wants to paint a picture. She wants you to understand. And so, but it was just, I was like, if I had been emotionally prepared for this, that would have been one thing, but I wasn't. So I was like, oh, there's a lot of that happening in this book. But they were really good. If you haven't read them, you should read Toni Morrison. I would definitely recommend Beloved. Beloved was really good. Her writing is really beautiful. Sometimes there were things there was like the way she was writing. There was like some poetry in Beloved that I was like, I don't quite understand what's happening here. But it was really good. Highly recommend. I finished both of those last month. So there you go.
I am currently reading a horror book.
Ooh.
It's called Hidden Pictures
by
Jason Rekulak. Rekulak, I think that's how you say that, probably. And I'm like 100 pages in.
Are you scared to pieces?
I am eating it up. Okay, so this book, it's a very kind of straightforward like horror book. Like, there's a kid. The kid has an imaginary friend who's really fucking freaky. The new nanny is like noticing this, and the parents are kind of weird. Like, a classic, they live in this big mansion, they're rich. Classic kind of horror book, nothing crazy there. But what makes this book unique is that there are pictures throughout the book that the kid draws, because he's a little artist. He's 5, he's not a little artist.
He's a little artist.
He draws. So yeah, like, there are just pictures scattered throughout this book. There's a lot of them. And like, the first picture shown, it was when the nanny was meeting him, and so he was like, look at my pictures, and it was just like these cute farm animals, and she's like, oh my god, that's so cute. And then the last picture was him holding hands with the freakiest fucking figure you've ever seen.
I think I saw that when I Googled this book that you're talking about.
Probably. And it was on page 24. And I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, time to watch Bob's Burgers. I can't. Like, it was because I'm a big, I love reading scary things, but visuals, that's not my game.
Me too.
Like, at all. We remember how I reacted when I saw my first horror movie only mere months ago.
Yes.
It still affects me to this day. Yeah, so I know I have problems, but it's fine. So yeah, the page 24, and I was like, oh, great, I can't read this book. That's actually horrible. Because I read at night, too. I read before bed. I don't really read at any other time.
You're going to have to start reading that on a Saturday afternoon or something. That's,
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. So, and then I was like, okay, let me read. And I had an afternoon after work where I wasn't really doing anything for like an hour. So I was like, let me read this. It's light out. Let's do it. So I read like 60 pages in one sitting. That like it was like 45 minutes because it was the writing was just super easy to read. Like, so good.
I do love an easy to read book.
Yeah, like that you just fly through. Yeah. You're like, oh, this is just very casual, good writing. Yeah, and then I started seeing more of those pictures, and I was like, since it was daytime and I wasn't alone, I was like, okay, I can do this. Yeah. So now I'm reading it before bed. I did get to a scary picture last night, and I said, okay, great, this is a great stopping point. This is a great
time to stop right now.
So, yeah, like, it's still a little scary, but I am very much... And apparently they just get worse and worse as you go. So, and I'm only 100 pages in, and it's like a 400-page book.
Oh, it's 400?
Oh, my God! I just opened the back to see how many pages, and I just saw something really scary.
Oh, my God.
Okay, yeah, it's about 400
pages. That's a big book.
And on page 376, there's something really messed up. So, wow. Okay, so I'm very excited to keep reading this book. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Because I had my boyfriend flip through it for me. Because, my roommate Tara suggested it. And because she saw it on TikTok. And so she's reading it at the same time. So that's kind of fun.
Well, that's nice.
They were both reading it together. And they were like, dude, did you see that drawing? But first I had my boyfriend look through it. And he was like, oh, you're not going to like this. I was just like,
okay, great.
Great. That's
I'm so
awesome.
excited.
But I'm enjoying the story. I'm excited to see what happens. And I'm going to keep positive thoughts.
There you go. Be mindful when you're reading it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So mindful.
Wow. Well, I am currently reading something that is like totally the opposite of what you're reading. I am trying to start my nonfiction journey. I've started reading Doppelganger by Naomi Klein, who is a journalist, like a leftist journalist. And this book is actually really interesting so far. It's sort of about like the surveillance state, but it's called Doppelganger because there's another quote unquote journalist, Naomi Wolf, who's like used to sort of be like a feminist writer, and now she's like a right-wing Fox News nut who believes a bunch of crazy shit.
Crazy.
And she during COVID when Naomi Wolf was peddling all this like anti-vax stuff, which I didn't know. Apparently, people who were anti-vax when the COVID vaccine was coming out, there was this thing going around that vaccinated people, you don't want to get near vaccinated people because they could like infect you with the vaccination if you were like close to them. So people who believed that didn't want to get like physically close to people who are vaccinated, which I was like, okay. But people kept mistaking Naomi Klein for Naomi Wolf, and they are like total opposites. And so people were like tagging her, and they're like, wow, Naomi Klein is crazy, and saying all this crazy stuff.
Like, no, please.
And she would hear people in public be like, wow, I used to really like Naomi Klein, but she's really gone down the drain with all this conspiracy theory stuff. And she would be like, that is not me. That is the other, she calls her the other Naomi.
Do they look alike?
I looked them up. They don't really look alike. But, like, I mean, I don't know. They're both, like, white ladies with brown hair. So,
Naomi.
That's probably just people were like, oh. And their names are both Naomi. I think she actually goes by Naomi, not Naomi. But
Naomi.
So it's
that's weird because
do they look alike?
When on her overview, Naomi Wolf, it still says an American feminist author, which is like, okay,
girl. Like, what do you mean on her overview? Like on her Twitter or something?
No, on like the Wikipedia.
Oh, on Wikipedia. Yes, no, it was just nobody.
Yeah,
that.
These women don't look alike at all.
Do they not? Yeah, no. I looked them up because I was like, I wonder if they look alike, and I was like, oh, they don't really. But it's really interesting, and it's also just about, like, surveillance state. It's kind of about COVID and, like, conspiracy theories and stuff. So it's really interesting.
That's interesting.
And I'm really enjoying it so far. I do feel like it might take me a little while to read just because I don't have a ton of time to read. And then it is nonfiction, and so sometimes I have to go back and reread. Like, I can't read it when I'm sleepy, which I usually will read, like, after work, and I'm kind of sleepy at that time. So I have to make sure I'm really paying attention. Otherwise, what's the point? I'm also reading The Full Moon Coffee Shop right now.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember who the author is. Mei Mochizuki. I don't know if it's just like the translation from Japanese to English, but the writing is very weird. I think there must be some words in Japanese that there is not an English equivalent for. And I think that it's got to do, there must be something they say that is a phrase that the only way you can translate it to English is if you say, okay.
Okay.
Or right. I think it's right. Because they will often say right or okay when it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, now, what does that have to do with what someone just said to you? What does that have to do with it? So I haven't picked it. I started it in like January. I haven't picked it up in a little while. But it's interesting for sure. It's just the writing is really throwing me off. I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a translation, and it could just be, I don't want to, like, shit on its author, you know, if it's the translation, but...
Yeah, it's probably just I think it's probably just a translation.
And so it's kind of thrown me off when I read it. I'm like, oh, all right. But it's interesting, you know, a bunch of cats helping people figure out their lives is nice.
That is nice.
But...
Yeah, that's sitting on my bookshelf.
Yeah, I mean, we had the second one, because our parents actually got us... They got the first one and the second one, and it was like Cassie got the first one and I got the second one, and so we'll talk about those books at some point. But I haven't read the second one. I'm only on the first one still.
As for upcoming books, well, Amelia, you gave me a book for my birthday.
Oh,
and that book is North Woods by Daniel Mason. And our neighbor growing up,
our parents' current neighbor, who has been our neighbor, was our neighbor when we were growing up. Yes, lovely lady,
lovely woman, like a
shout out to Carol.
Shout out Carol, she is so iconic. She really enjoyed this book, but she also, let me go back in our text because I sent her a picture of it, and because she described it, she was like, oh, I love that book, but that was one of the most disturbing things I've ever read. So what did she say about that? Oh wait, no, actually in our text she said, oh, it's creepy in parts and I haven't figured out the ending yet, so I'm excited. And so I told her I was going to read it next. So yeah, once I finish my scary book, let me look on. Well, I know what it's about. She told us all about it.
Yeah, she did.
Just look in the.
It's sort of nature-y, because my theme for your birthday gifts was like nature stuff.
Okay, yeah. So basically, it's about a house in the woods of New England, and the story of the house is told through the lives of those who lived in it over centuries. So it's like, oh, it was a Puritan colony. There's 2 little Puritans in there. And then there's an English soldier that lived there. It's a crime reporter lived there. Like, it's just over the centuries, like, who lived there. And it's telling the story of the house and how it changed and the nature and the woods. So, and the cover is really funny.
Is it a bear?
I don't know.
It's like a weird little creature.
It's like a bobcat, panther. Yeah. I don't know. But I showed it to my roommate, Tara, and she said, why are you kind of zesty? I was like, I don't know. But he is. He's got, like, the face of a cat, just like a house cat.
But he's got, like, the body of a bear or something.
He's got a really strong body.
Bear body.
It's, yeah,
Oh
so
my
I don't
God.
know. Look up the cover. It's really funny.
It's funny.
But apparently it's a really good book,
Yeah.
so I'm going to be reading that one
It
next.
kinda reminds
and if
me-
Carol liked it, I'm sure I will.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that Tom Hanks movie that came out like last year or something about the house. It was like a house that had different generations of people grow up in it.
No, I think it was just them.
Was it just them? Oh.
The and it was their years of their
family
living there.
Generations of their family, yeah.
Because they because they had to edit
They had
his
to
face to look young, it was
CGI
freaky.
to baby Tom Cruise, even though we have a
Baby
million
Tom
and a half.
Cruise, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, and we have
Baby Tom Cruise.
Baby Tom Cruise. We have a million videos of baby Tom Hanks. I almost said Tom Cruise again. Baby Tom Hanks talking and moving and walking. They just need to watch Big and use clips from that.
Just poorly edited clips
from Big.
From other movie.
I honestly hate that movie, Big.
No
Do you remember that movie? Do you remember when the parents made us watch Big when we were little?
Yeah, I do, and I remember
I
that.
hate it.
Freaky.
I hate it. Well,
if I was that woman, I would have had to seek therapy.
I don't know what I would have done. I thought that it was when we watched it. I was probably like 10, and I remember watching it. And being like, isn't it weird that he's having sex with this adult lady, but he's really 12?
Guys.
And I was a 10-year-old. And I'm like, did these adults in the 80s not think about how fucking weird that is?
If that, okay, so it ends with her dropping off adult Tom Hanks and he slowly transforms
into a child!
And she sees him. If that was me, I would have run him over with my car. I would have been like, I have to get rid of the evidence.
Oh my God. I would have driven off a bridge, bro. I would have driven that car off the New York Bridge.
And then driven off a bridge.
No. Oh my God. I just can't.
Because that's horrible.
I just can't. Anyway, so that sounds like a good book to read.
Yeah, so excited. And I also forgot, I went to a book fair. Oh. Not a book fair. I went to an art fair and there was a book stand.
I went to the Scholastic book fair.
I got a bookmark. 2 weeks ago, and so I got a bag, and you paid $5 for a tote bag, and then you just could fill it with as many books as you wanted because they were all just donated books. So I filled it with so many books. I got a Steve Martin book.
Wait,
because
did you get Shop Girl?
No.
Well, I got Shop Girl.
Let me go grab the bag.
I got Shop Girl from my library book sale a couple months ago.
Another Carol recommended book.
Shop Girl she did recommend a Shop. I was trying to remember who.
I thought you got it.
I was trying to remember who we had talked to. I know that we had talked to somebody, but I couldn't remember who. It was Carol. I'm gonna have to tell her. I forgot.
It was Carol. I got. Oh, actually, I lent it to Tara, so I actually don't know the name of it, but it wasn't Shop Girl.
Oh.
So she has that right now. But yeah, I got that. I got this one, the Mitford Murders, just a fun
The who?
book. But the Mitford Murders.
Oh, they said the Mitford Murders, and I was like, okay.
It's by Jessica Fellows, who is the author of The World of Downton Abbey. And I love Downton Abbey. I got this book called Honeysuckle by Bar Fridman-Tell, and I just thought the cover was beautiful. So I'll look at that. Ooh, and I'm really excited about this one. I got Defending Jacob by William Landay, and this is a TV show on Apple TV. It is so good.
But it's a book. It's based off of the book. The miniseries. So
it's a miniseries on Apple, and I loved it. And so I just wanted to see how it compares to the book and if there's anything different. And then I got a nonfiction called East West Street by Philip.
Never heard of any of these.
Philippe?
Is there an E at the end?
Philippe. Yes, Philippe.
Philip?
I just couldn't say it. Philippe, because there's no apostrophe, so it's not Philippe. It's Philippe. Philippe Sands, and it's about I think it's fiction based on historical fiction, I think. Just about Jewish people during World War II, just in Europe. So, should be pretty interesting. Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah, it's a spellbinding family memoir. Okay, so it's nonfiction. The author traces the mysterious story of his grandfather as he maneuvered through Europe in the face of Nazi atrocities. So, thought that would be good, and yeah. So I have so much stuff to read.
I know. I have a lot of stuff to read too, but that's a lot of books.
It's exciting. No, and then I have 2 books that we bought. I have one more book that we bought together. My Shirley Jackson one. Gotta read that. So yeah. Hangs a Man.
Hangs a Man?
Oh. Yeah, it's like hangs, the letter A, man, but one word.
It's one word. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Hangs a Man.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have tons of stuff to read, but Northwoods is first.
Nice. But after I finished reading Doppelganger, which God knows when that will be, my coworker has actually let me borrow a book because she likes a lot of true crime, and I don't really listen to true crime anymore because it makes me feel icky to listen to it. So I don't hardly listen to it at all. I would say I haven't even listened to true crime, like actually listened to it in probably like a year and a half. I just can't do it anymore. But she let me borrow Ronan Farrow's book called Catch and Kill, which is about something, I don't know, true crime. It's a true crime, like, right. It's like nonfiction. It's like true crime. I don't know if it's like going into detective work. I honestly don't know. She just told me that it was good, and she was like, do you want to read it? And I was like, sure. And it's been sitting on my desk at work. So she can see that it's on my work desk and that I haven't started it, and it's been sitting there for like a month. And I'm like, at this point, I need to just give it back to her, or I need to read it. And I need to read it in like a week. And so I'm feeling a little bit bad. That's why I hate when people let me borrow books, especially coworkers, because they can see. Like at my last job, one of my coworkers let me borrow one of their books. And it sat on my desk for like a month and a half. And then I got a new job. And I was like, I have 2 weeks to read this book. So, and then I read it and it was fine. But I don't like when people let me borrow their books. Because, like, me and my friend Mary let each other borrow each other's books, but we are, like, best friends, and I've had one of her books for a year, and she's had 2 of my books for a year, and it doesn't matter. And that's fine. Okay. But, actually, I have 2 of her books. But, you know, when it's, like, your coworker, girl, and they let you borrow a book, I'm like, God, this is really stressful. So, I gotta get on that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I'm either going to read it or just give it right back to her. So I've got that going on. I also want to start reading, because I have this from the library and it's due in like a month, Atomic Family by Sierra Horton McElroy, which is, I think, about like a nuclear blast. It's a fiction book. About a nuclear blast. Okay. And, like, I don't know if it's a survival, like, they survive a nuclear blast or something. It's got...
Well, I'm sure it'd be pretty short if they just died.
Well, yes. But I don't know if it's, like, it comes down and they do it, or if it's more like Cold War, where they're, like, navigating the fear of a nuclear blast. I don't quite know, because I haven't started it.
Interesting.
When I checked it out, when I placed a hold on it for the library, I thought it was really, it sounded good. But it's due in, like, a month, so I've got to read that. And then another nonfiction book, because I bought like 6 nonfiction books from Thrift Books, and because I was like, if I own them, then I'm definitely going to read them. Right. Which is why I have 30 unread books that I've purchased over the last 7 years or whatever. Not 7, 5. And so another one that I want to read is A People's Guide to Capitalism, an Introduction to Marxist Economics, because I feel like I want to start reading more about Marxism, but it's hard. Political theory is boring. So anyway, but that's by Haddis Thier. So I want to read that. And then I also want to read The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, which is about like a young man living in Afghanistan. This book was published like in the early 2000s, probably during the Bush Iraq War, Afghanistan War, George W. And then on that same note, guys, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news. There's some stuff happening. I'm not going to say that because that is very flippant. Our stupid president is bombing.
Let me rephrase.
Civilians in Iran. So, for anyone who is like, how did our relationship with West Asia, which is what we have been taught to not call the Middle East. So it's what people call the Middle East, which is just the colonizer way to describe
it's
that
like
area.
In the middle of the globe from
From
England,
where?
Is that why
from England, yes.
From England, okay.
The English called it the Middle East. So that's why we call it that. So
It's
let's
actually West Asia.
reframe. It's West Asia. So how did we get here with our relationship, America's relationship with West Asia? Well, I just want to say you should listen to the podcast Blowback. They have a season about Afghanistan, and it's about the Soviets and the U.S. and like how this relationship started. It's very long. The episodes are long. They talk about history. It is a history podcast. It's a political history podcast. So it does feel long sometimes, but I think it's important for everyone to listen to, especially Americans. We need to learn these things. We aren't taught these things. So listen, it's Blowback.
So true. I'm gonna
They have a
add
season
that
about
to
Afghanistan.
my library right now.
They also have a season about Cambodia. They have like I think 4 or 5 seasons, and it's about different things like that, where Americans basically came in and killed a bunch of people. So it's like actual history that you didn't learn,
Typical.
that we all need to learn. So highly recommend. Listen to Blowback. I think you talked about the books, our last currently reading episode. I think you let us know where you were at with all those books, right? I feel like you did. Like your Donna Tartt book. Oh, your Invisible Man. Wait, tell us about The Invisible Man. Did you finish that book?
No, it was boring.
Okay. All right. You were really animated about that book.
No, I know. It's just I got it got under my pile because it's an anthology. Is that what the word is? I
Yes,
had this conversation
from
before.
H.G. Wells.
Yeah. It's in an anthology of a bunch of other books, so it's a big book. But that's just one of the stories. And yeah, it just got stacked.
Yeah.
Under all my other books. So I should need to finish. I do need to finish it. Cause yeah, I really don't have that. It's like maybe 70 pages long.
Okay.
So like, it's a
You
short
could
story.
finish
I
it.
could
Yeah.
just finish it. I could. I just got really, really excited about this horror book.
Well, sure. And you don't have to finish every
So-
book. It's okay, guys, to not finish
Yeah.
books.
Yeah, and I was trying to get another hobby, and
Yeah.
so me and my boyfriend picked up crochet kits
Oh.
from Michael's.
Yeah.
And we realized we're really bad at
It's
crocheting.
hard. Me and Mary
It is
tried to do
so
crochet
hard.
because Thomas got me. Remember that crochet kit a couple years ago for Christmas, and it is so hard. It's so hard. Like it's harder than it's way harder than it looks. And
Yes.
it's also hard because you're watching these videos of people and they're like, do this knot, and then they do it, but you're like,
All
how
the
did you
knots
do
are-
that?
Yeah. And everyone does it differently.
And it's also just like
flip knot.
they do something with their fingers on the needle that I don't understand. I'm like, I don't understand how you just did that. How did you do that though? I need you to close up on your fingers and do it really slowly. And I need you to do it. That's why I feel like if I'm going to do crochet, I need to like go to a class and have someone show me physically how to do it. Otherwise, it's like I just can't. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, because we sat down to do it, and he is in medicine, so it was like the moving of his fingers.
Mhm.
He was like, "Oh, it's just like doing
Some
blah, blah, blah,
stitches."
blah, blah,
Yeah,
whatever.
sure.
So and I was like, and I literally was like, "Fuck you!" I was so
Shut
mad
up.
so much. He was so much better at it than me, and that pissed me off. But luckily, one of my best friends is an incredible crocheter, and so I just got coffee with her one day, and she just
you have
she
someone who
helped me.
can show you.
And so I've done a little bit by myself, but now I'm on a step where I need to ask her again, because I'm like, I have no idea what this means. Because it also is like a little language. There's like where it's like this means that, but I don't know that because I'm not in the, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have like abbreviations for things.
Yeah.
And
You're like, stop. I don't know.
yeah. So I need to meet with her again, and she needs to help me out again. But once the stitches itself is not hard once you get the hang of it. And so she was like, you just need to get some thick yarn, and you need to make a big blanket. She's like, because I think you would be very good at that. And I was like,
And
okay.
it's probably,
so,
I wonder if it's easier with thick yarn because you're like holding
thick yarn,
onto it.
big little thingies. I don't know what they're called.
Needles? Needle?
Yeah, needles. Yeah, like straight lines, because I'm doing one where it's like a circle, and that's really hard, apparently. They really advanced, which I didn't know when we picked it up. Yeah. So she was like, Cassie, she's like, you just got to get a blanket kit, and she's like, oh, you can make a really great blanket. And I was like, okay. So, yeah. So, I was trying to do other hobbies, and then it didn't work. And
you can have other hobbies that make you be slow reading. Yes. Well,
just busy.
I mean, so from the last time we did this episode, I was reading a bunch of books at the same time in like October, November. And guess what, guys? I returned to the library without finishing Out There Screaming, which was an anthology of short stories. And like I said, I'm not really a short story person, so I was just like, I think I'm done. And Absolution, which is that Jeff Vandermeer fourth book of a series that I've read, the trilogy. And then he wrote this new fourth book like 10 years after the last book came out.
Whoa.
And I started it. And I was like, what's going on? And then I didn't pick it back up, and I just returned it because I was like, someone else needs to read this. I'm not going to hold on to this book. So I just returned those. I was reading The Witching Hour by Anne Rice, y'all.
Right.
I don't think I'm going to read that book. I own that book, but I bought it at a thrift bookstore. It was like $4. It's a first edition hardcover with a beautiful dust jacket. That's why I bought that book.
You couldn't resist?
I couldn't resist, so...
Can't resist the dust jacket.
The beautiful dust jacket. So that's just going to be a coffee table book, y'all. And I'm also still reading the Anthropocene. I cannot say that word. Is that how you say it? Anthropocene?
Anthropocene.
Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. I'm also still reading that, his little essays. That's the book, Mary's book. I've probably had that book for, not a year, but a long time. I haven't picked that book up probably since we talked about it in October, so I probably should pick that book up.
And that's okay.
Read it. But there's just so many things happening. I have so little time to read. I just want to do it. I just want to read books that I'm excited about and not.
Yeah, like I can talk about my school books. I read those a lot.
It's not.
Design and Historic. What does it say? Oh, Design and Historic Preservation. That's a book I'm reading.
Yum.
Nearby History. That's a book I'm reading. There actually is one of my textbooks that I do actually like. It's called Bending the Future, 50 Ideas for the Next 50 Years of Historic Preservation.
Oh, well, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of, not short stories, but it's just a bunch of mini
episodes. A bunch of short stories
about
the future.
Short stories, that's how I make it better. Like, oh, look at short story. No, I actually really like that one.
That sounds nice.
So, yeah.
That's good. So Cassie, this is unrelated to books entirely. I just thought that this would be a fun... Oh, what are you doing?
Sorry.
I just thought this would be a fun little conversational question to ask at the end of this little episode. So this week, when me and my coworker were having enrichment time in the afternoon, she asked me a question that I thought was very intriguing. She said that when you die and you're up at the pearly gates, and you could ask, whoever's up there, to tell you the answer to one, like, mystery or, like, unsolved thing or, like, urban legend or whatever. If you could have them tell you the answer or, like, what happened, what event or what thing would you say you want to know? What happened?
That's really interesting. I think... Like, part of me just immediately goes to true crime.
Me too. I know, yeah.
Because my very first
I wonder if you're going to say what... That's what mine...
John Benet Ramsey?
Mine was John Benet Ramsey.
That was my first thought. Because, with all this stuff coming out about Epstein and child traffickers and pedophilia, I can't help but remember those conspiracy theories from so long ago when if that had anything to do with it. Sure. And that's something that even though all this stuff is coming out, I doubt that we'll ever really learn the truth of that.
I mean, at this point, it's been like almost 30 years. We're not...
and they're still protecting all the pedophiles because that's who matters, guys. Those people. They matter. Okay. They're still protecting them. Yeah. I doubt we're going to learn anything really of significance. Yeah. So that's one thing I'd say. But then also I feel like I'd be like, maybe like JFK or something, or MLK, because
I mean,
like
Martin Luther King Jr. was definitely killed by the FBI. I almost feel like I
yeah,
don't even
so
need
I would
to ask
ask
that question because I know
Okay.
that he was.
yeah. So I'd probably do something like that. Yeah. So
Interesting. Okay, so wait,
Yeah.
so what would you, because this came about because me and my coworker were talking about that Malaysian Airlines flight
oh, that's a good
that disappeared. Apparently people think that, because it was like the 10-year anniversary or something, like
Yeah.
this year. And so apparently people think that the pilot, it was like a murder-suicide.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I had not even thought about that in a while. And then she brought it up because it was like the 10-year anniversary, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's pretty terrible. But, so you would say John Benet Ramsey, that would be your question, or your question would be 9/11?
I think, now I'm like, or do I just want something fun? Like, are ghosts real?
See, I kind of said like Bermuda Triangle could be kind of
Yeah,
fun.
that could be kind of fun. I don't know. There's so many things I want to know.
I know. There's so many. Well, she said, oh God, and now I can't remember the name of it, even though I literally, you remember when those kids in Russia they were Russian and they went camping in Siberia?
The pass, the
yes. Oh my God.
I can't pronounce it.
Oh my God. I literally have listened to a podcast numerous times about this.
Yeah, no, that's a good one too.
The Dyatlov, is it Dyatlov?
Dyatlov.
Yes,
It's
Dyatlov Pass incident. I think that, because in my podcast they were talking about it, and I kind of think it was just like an avalanche and like nature and like animals. But so I was kind of surprised when she said that.
Typically,
I was like,
whatever the most like easily understood answer is usually the answer.
Yes, yeah.
So the most simple answer, is usually.
But she thinks that it was about like radiation.
I've seen people
like,
say chemical agents and radiation and all that stuff. I do think it probably was just a very unfortunate accident.
I agree. Yeah. Wait, so what did you say your answer was going to be? Okay.
I don't know.
Anything.
I still don't know.
Could be anything.
We
don't know.
Anything? Okay. Maybe. Okay. So. Okay. Okay. Well. Okay.
You don't have to think.
Maybe
okay.
I'll ask if Atlantis was real. But no, I think that can be kind of explained by archaeology. So I don't want to waste my question.
Sure.
Oh my god. Oh my
god.
I'm gonna throw up.
Okay, don't do that.
Okay, I think I will stick with asking about. I really thought like.
Did you think somebody was gonna come to you?
Yeah. I'll ask about ghosties.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, just keep it fun and lighthearted. I'm dead. Like, let's not spend an eternity of my head reeling about the things I've just learned. Let's talk about ghosts.
What about are there aliens? If there are
That's
aliens,
a dumb question.
Are there in another? Okay, are they in our Milky Way universe, or are they in like a different one? And if so, which one? And have they come down?
Oh my god. This is like, that's 5 questions in one. You get one question.
I can't ask a follow-up question about this.
You're like, this is a 3-parter. I don't know. About that, I just believe Obama.
What do you mean you believe Obama?
Obama was like, hell yeah, they're aliens.
Well, okay, sure. It's not that I don't believe
them.
there are aliens. I just wonder, where are they? Have they come here before? Are the people that say they were kidnapped, abducted by aliens, are they for real, or are they just like hippies?
That is a good one to ask about. Maybe I'd ask that too, because they're definite, or if have they infiltrated the government?
Okay, all right. This conversation really got off the rails.
We're gonna be up there being like, oh, we get one question, okay, and we're gonna be like, what about what about that?
We're gonna spend eternity thinking of a question.
They're gonna kick us back down to
and be like, go to hell. Oh man. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of A Book for My Sister. Let us know what books y'all have been reading recently, or what's up next on your TBR we'll be back soon with another episode. Will it be a yap-isode? Will it be a regular episode?
An analysis episode.
An analysis episode. Who knows? We're working on it.
To say?
Let us know. You know what? If there's something y'all want to hear us talk about, or if there's a format that y'all think you want to hear, or if you like just hearing us ramble on and on for 45 minutes, then let us know. We want to know. We want to hear y'all's input. So let us know. Let us know what y'all think. Keep on. Let us know, but keep it civil. Be nice.
Keep it civil.
Keep it civil down there. So keep on yapping and reading until then. Okay, everybody. Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do today, guys. Wow.
Whoopee.
Okay. Whoopee!
Yippee!
Woohoo! Okay. So, do
so
we want to? Okay, I can tell. He's like Mickey Mouse.